Sophie Wilde, who is a best-selling romantasy author, and she's at the height of her career when she discovers that another author has used AI to write in her style. And instead of being canceled as we may expect, readers embrace it. And she's called innovative in the press, and she's trending on social media. And Sophie's been at this for 15 years, and she's worked hard to get where she is, and she's not going to let anybody take her spot from her. So when she arrives at the largest romance readers convention in the country and discovers the AI author has also been invited, Sophie bands together with her fellow authors to take this author down any way they can. But to understand where she's coming from, as I said, Sophie has worked really hard to get where she is. She started as a self-published author, made the transition to become a published author, and she educated herself on what it takes to succeed, both craft-wise as well as the business of publishing, because this is a business. And so she feels very offended when her readers are not behind her, or even when the press is not behind her, and they're kind of calling this other woman innovative and creative and lauding what she's done with technology. And Sophie, who feels a lot of indignation over this, and the attention is getting to another author when her final book in her 10-book best-selling series is about to come out, and now the shift in focus is away from her into someone else. So she's upset, and she maybe had a drink with a friend and winds up walking through a bookstore and does a rant on a lot of the behind the scenes of publishing that I'm not sure everybody knows, but authors books are paid by the publishers to be at the front of a bookstore, which is why when you walk through every bookstore, all the same books are in the front. It's not just coincidence. There's payment for where you're positioned in a bookstore. There's payment that goes in the social media world to Instagrammers and Book Talk to get books out there. There is a lot of kind of this behind the scenes that people don't know, but Sophie is very much aware of. And she's kind of feeling a little bit affronted. And so she goes on a rant giving some of these behind the scene things that are happening in the publishing world. And of course, as happens today, someone's capturing it on video without her knowing. There's three other authors, Rosie, Grace, and Fiona. And it's always fun to write the kind of sidekick, funny characters, the ones who are a little bit there for comic relief. The book it's a satire, and it does kind of go some wild places. And the character of Fiona is probably kind of the silliest kind of, but doesn't think she's silly, but everybody else around her knows she is. And that's just a super fun character to write, especially in a book that is tackling some heavier topics. I really wanted to have some humor in there to balance it out. So Fiona just became funny because she could say anything. She's blunt. She doesn't really sometimes understand how things come across when she says things. She's almost a little naive about the industry. And so she was able to kind of be that person that was just fun to cut to in scenes with a group of authors. So I wanted through Hartley, which actually is the name of a really good friend of mine who said, "You never put me in a book," and Hartley West is such a great name. So I said, well, you're going to be the villain in this one. So she is. She was okay with that. But I wanted to use Hartley as the representation of what it's like in this business when you're struggling to have success and you're having trouble finding it. And there are talented authors out there. I'm a creative writing instructor. I teach writers. There are so many authors that for whatever reason can't break out. And you can't break out because there's so much competition in this industry. And Hartley, as the villain, quote unquote, reaches a level where she has tried so hard to become a published author with her own work, and she can't do it. So she turns to AI to say, like, well, I'm going to use that's out there, and I'm going to use the system, and I'm going to see what I can do to finally have this level of success. So I want people, I think understandably so, there are going to be a lot of readers who are like a knee-jerk reaction of someone used AI and people like it, I'm not reading this book. And I've seen reviews in that way. They just don't even like the concept that out there someday people might accept AI authors. But I do think it's probably the future. And I wanted to present where that would come from somebody who you can still empathize with why she turns to it and the struggle that she's had. So I wanted to humanize her, even if you don't believe in what she's done.